How you doing, YouTube? This is Gunner Restarting 67 bringing you another YouTube video. Today's YouTube video is going to be on bugging in mistakes that will get you killed. Alright YouTube, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so in no particular order, I'm going to go down a laundry list of things that could possibly get you killed if you decide to hunker down, whether it be at your primary residence or even if you have a bug out location. If you decide to bug in, these are the things that you need to really plan for and look at to ensure that if you bug in, you will go ahead with you and your family get to the other side of any type of disaster, whether it be natural disaster, man-made, any of those types of scenarios. All right. The first bugging and mistake that will get you killed is not practicing OPSEC. If you don't know what OPSEC is, it's operational security. It's that old World War II slogan that usually came along with a little quippy saying, "Loose lips sink ships." Basically what that is don't tell everybody that, number one, that you're a prepper. Don't tell everybody and anybody what you have. Because if you do that and a scenario comes along where you have things that people need, they're going to remember the conversations that they had where you talked about how, hey, I've got a solar generation system that can produce over 10,000 kilowatt hours of power, and I'll have refrigeration and food and clean water, and I'll be able to ride out anything. They're going to remember that, and they're going to come to your house when they're in need. And when people are in need, they can do desperate things. So you don't want to put yourself into the situation. So ensure that you practice OPSEC. Number two, the number two bugging and mistakes that will get you killed: running your generator or propane generator during a long-term disaster that utilities are down for an extended period of time. So if it is a long-term utility outage, regardless of what the scenario is, whether it's an EMP, a CME, whether it's a cyber attack, any time that there is a long-term utility outage, you do not want to be running your gasoline generator or your propane generator or your dual fuel, whatever you have. It is noisy. It draws attention, especially when there are no other noises to mask it. If they sit down there and hear a generator, they're going to say, oh, they have power. And they're going to come to your house and they're going to see what else you have. And even if they don't come to see what else you have, you're going to have a lot of people asking you to hook them up. Hey, can you go ahead and power my cell phone? Hey, can I run an extension cord from your generator to my house if they're a close neighbor? You're going to have people that are going to try to piggyback off of your resources. So you don't want to put yourself in that position. Number three, cooking food outside. So if there is a massive utility outage, or if there is the logistical system has completely shut down, you don't want to be cooking food outside. And the reason being is the smell of cooking food travels a long distance, and hungry people can smell that really, really quickly, and they're like bloodhounds. Again, they'll follow the smell. They'll come to your house and they'll sit down there and start begging for food, looking for handouts. And if you're charitable and you start giving some, everybody's going to expect some. And when you decide, hey, I can't give anything out to anyone else because it's going to hurt me and my family, then people are going to get desperate and they're going to start trying to take things by force. So don't cook outside, and keep yourself from having to deal with that situation. The next bugging in mistake that will get you killed: throwing trash away where other people see it and can go through it. You have to have a trash disposal plan, and it needs to be discreet. Because if you just do like what you normally do with your trash day, and you just throw it at the edge of your property, individuals can rummage through your trash and piece together that you have provisions stockpiled. And again, that puts the spotlight on you. It puts you at the forefront of needy individuals, knowing that you have things that they need. And that is going to create strife when they come to look for a handout and you can't give them a handout. Bad things are going to happen, so don't put yourself in this situation. Ensure that you have a plan to throw away all of your trash in a secure location and away from prying eyes. The next bugging and mistake that will get you killed is not utilizing some form of blackout curtains to block lights from prying eyes. So if you're a solid prepper and you have a emergency power generation plan, and all the power has went out, and your neighbors at night see that you have lights on, again, they're going to say, wow, they've got power, they've got lights. What else do they have? And they're going to make their way to you, and they're going to pester and badger you to try to share your resources. So don't put yourself in that position. The next bugging and mistake that will get you killed is not having a good sanitation plan. Now, with your sanitation plan, I'm talking about your hygiene plan, keeping yourself clean. That deals with soap, toothpaste, hand sanitizers, feminine hygiene products, and then also to include human waste disposal. If you don't have one of those plans, hygiene will get you sick extremely well if you don't do it right. If you don't continue to wash your hands, if you don't continue to disinfect areas that you prepare food, if you don't keep up your cleanliness and you do not dispose of human waste away from everyone else, your health and the health of your family is going to deteriorate extremely fast. So ensure that you have some type of good sanitation plan. The next bugging and mistake that will get you killed is not having a good water collection, filtration, and purification plan. Most preppers can only stockpile so much water. There are some of you out there that has cisterns, or you have water barrels, or even a well or a stream nearby where you have ample water, but you still need a way to filter it and purify it. And if you don't, this kind of goes along with hygiene as well. You can get sick really, really fast, and your health of you and your family will go downhill rapidly. So don't put yourself in that position. Have the ability to get some water barrels or get some water containers. Have the ability to, if you don't have a whole lot of larger water containers, have a way to collect rainwater from your rain gutters. Make sure you have a way of filtering all the big particulates out, and then make sure you have a way of purifying it, whether with chemicals or through fire. You just utilize boiling techniques to boil all the viruses and bacteria out of it. Regardless of what your plan is, ensure you have a plan, because if you don't have a plan for collection, filtration, and purification of your drinking water, then you're going to be a goner pretty quick. The next bugging and mistake that will get you killed is not hardening your home against break-ins. Now, with me, what I have done to harden my home against break-ins is I went ahead and replaced all the screws of my store striker plates and my door hinges with 3-inch screws. That way, if someone tries to kick in my door, they're going to have a hell of a lot harder time doing it. Addition to that, you also want to put impact-resistant window film on at least the ground floor levels. It it isn't going to keep the windows from breaking, but it is going to take a lot longer for someone to try to smash your windows with that impact resistant film and get in, which gives you time to react positively to the situation. And that's what we're looking for. Additionally, barricade reinforcement kits for the doors, motion sensors, and cameras. Most break-ins happen through the front or back door. So if you have a barricade anti-break-in kit on your front and rear doors, it is definitely going to aid you. I'm a firm believer that if someone wants to get into a building or a home bad enough, eventually they're going to get in. The trick is to give you enough time to get your personal protection items together and get individuals put in position to be able to engage these intruders instead of being caught by surprise. So make sure that you harden your home against break-ins. The next bugging in mistake that will get you killed is not having proper ventilation for SHTF heating sources. Every single winter, you hear of individuals dying from carbon monoxide poisoning because they've either done something like brought a generator inside their home and run it to keep warm, or individuals that have fireplaces that they're running that are blocked because of creosote, or they've got an indoor heater and they haven't ventilated the area properly and they don't have carbon monoxide detectors or fire alarms, or even something as simple as candles that have been knocked over that have started a fire. If you don't have a proper ventilation plan for your SHTF heating source, it is going to end up badly, whether it'll cause you and your family to get sick or even die from carbon monoxide poisoning, or a fire breaks out. So ensure you have a ventilation plan for your SHTF heating sources. The next bugging and mistake that will get you killed is not having a bug out plan. So one of the recent events that we saw that was a perfect example of why not having a bug out plan is detrimental is the wildfires that just happened through California. You had many people that did not have a bug out plan. So when they had to evacuate, they were a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off. They didn't know where to go. When they were told they had to leave, or it was obvious they had to leave, they froze. They didn't know what to do, so they wasted precious minutes on trying to have the scenario play in their head to where they make actionable choices. And the best way to avoid that type of scenario is having a plan if you have to bug out. I live here in North Florida. One of the things that we always have to deal with here every single year is hurricanes. With that, I have a plan for bugging out. Hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, fires, riots, volcanoes, civil unrest, any of these things, you need to understand that there is a potential that you might have to leave the area because it has become unsafe. And if you stay, you and your family's safety is going to be in jeopardy. So me here in Florida, I've went ahead and I know what my evacuation routes are. I know what my evacuation zones are. I have 3 different routes that I can go if I need to get out of the area, because hurricanes just don't come in from one area. They can come in multiple paths. So I need to have at least one avenue of exit for each direction. And I have actually more than 3, but those are my 3 main ones, because roads get blocked, people's vehicles get blocked. And then the other part of that is to ensure that you see the signs early enough to where you don't get caught in the mass of people trying to migrate out of the area. If you can hit it early enough, right when you see, like with me, if I see a Cat 5 hurricane barreling down, and the probability is that it's going to hit the city that I live in, I'm getting out early because we have 3, 4, 5 days. And granted, in those days, the hurricane can shift. But once it reaches a certain level of hurricane, once it reaches a Cat 4 hurricane, I am not messing around with it. I'm going to take my family and I'm going to try to go into the opposite direction of where the hurricane is predicted to go. I'm not going to wait for the hurricane to make landfall and then try to get out. By then the roads are blocked. My choices for where I'm going to go and the resources that are going to be available to me are extremely limited, which really lowers our probability of getting out of the situation safely. So ensure that you have a bug out plan. Next, bugging a mistake that will get you killed. Not training for certain scenarios, which causes individuals to freeze up when seconds count. A lot of times when the unexpected happens, and you see it all the time, like in break-ins, fires, things of that nature, freak accidents like car crashes, what you do when you have to bug out, etc. Training these scenarios with you and your family members so that you and your family can react fast could save you and your family's lives and property. Perfect scenario is breaking ins. If somebody, all of a sudden you hear a loud banging and someone's trying to kick in the door and you see the door bowing, a lot of people just freeze. They're like, what the hell is going on? And a lot of them don't even realize that they're standing there so long just watching. Instead of right when they see that, they hear the door being hit violently, they should be going and trying to grab their firearm. They should be telling their wives and their children to get into their safe space, telling their wife to go ahead and grab their personal protective item. These are all things that need to be drilled. You need to drill them with your family so if these scenarios do happen, you're not wasting precious seconds and minutes. Those seconds and minutes could be the difference between life and death. They can be the difference between getting out of the scenario healthy or having lost life, limb, or eyesight. So train with your family some of these scenarios that are high stress. You'd be surprised that if any of these things ever happen and you have trained them, it will probably get them to react in a positive way to where they survive the situation. Last but not least, the last bugging and mistake that will get you killed is failing to adapt. Survival is never a static situation. You can have the best gear, a huge stockpile of food and water, and the best laid plans, but if you can't pivot when things change, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Meaning that anything that transpires that you train for, that you plan for. In the Marine Corps, we have a saying that your plans never survive first contact. And it is the truth. Something within that plan changes. Something inhibits you from your plan moving forward. So as that scenario or the situation changes from what you have expected and what you've envisioned, you need to be able to pivot, to adjust, to survive that change as well. And if you can't do that, then things are going to get in badly. Prime example. I don't know why this just popped in my head. There was a long time ago, there was a fire on an aircraft carrier, and the fire kicked off, and what had happened was all of the fire crash rescue sailors sprayed the fire retardant foam on it, and then another crew came in and they hit that foam with water, and then as the foam cleared, the fire broke out again, and it caused massive amounts of damage. They did not adjust to the jet fuel burning. They had never drilled something to that effect. So if someone would have noticed it at the beginning, hey, we just washed away all of this fire retardant foam and it held, and then our standard training says we also hit it with water. And once they did it the first time and they saw that fire flare up, there should have been someone that would have been capable of pivoting their tactics and say, hey, hit it with the foam again, but do not spray it. And if they would have done that, then there would have been a lot less damage to that aircraft carrier and other aircraft and other personnel. If anybody knows about the history of that, please let me know if I got anything wrong on that scenario. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But it's things like that. It's examples like that is you have to learn to adapt, because your plans are not going to completely work out the way that you plan it and train it. So make sure that you can adapt and you can adjust on the fly, because if you can, you and your family are going to definitely be able to get to the other side of any type of natural disaster, man-made disaster, or anything like that. All right, YouTube, that's enough for today. If you liked this content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. In the comments below, let me know what you like, what you don't like. Do you agree with this list? Am I missing anything? Let me know in the comments below. This is Gunnery Sergeant 67. I'm out.